Via's secret. A couple of days after spring break ended, Mom found out that Via hadn't told her about the school play that was happening at her high school the next week, and Mom was mad. Mom doesn't really usually get mad at much, though Dad would disagree with that. But she always was mad. She was really, really mad at Via for that. She and Via got into a huge fight. I could hear them yelling at each other in Via's room. My bionic Lobot ears could hear Mom saying, "But what is it with you lately, Via? You're moody and you're having tantrums and secretive and what is so wrong with me not telling you about a stupid play?" Via practically screamed. "I don't even have a speaking part in it." "Your boyfriend does. Don't you want us to see him in it?" "No, actually I don't." "Stop screaming. You scream first. Just leave me alone, okay? You've been really good at leaving me alone my whole life. So why do you choose high school to suddenly be interested? I have no idea." Ooh, then I don't know what Mom answered because it all got very quiet. And even my bionic Lobot ears couldn't pick up that signal. My cave. My dinner then seemed to have made up. Dad was working late. Daisy was sleeping. She'd thrown up a lot earlier in the day, and Mom was making an appointment to take her to the vet for the next morning. The three of us were sitting down, and no one was talking. Finally, I said, "So, are we going to see Justin in his play?" Via didn't answer, but looked down at her plate. "You know, Augie," Mom said quietly, "I hadn't realized what play it was, and it really isn't something that would be interesting for kids your age." "Oh, so I'm not invited," I said, looking at Via. "I didn't say that," said Mom. "It's just I don't think it's something you would enjoy." "You totally get bored," said Via. She was accusing me of something. "Are you and Dad going?" I asked. "Dad'll go," said Mom. "I'll stay home with you." "What?" Via yelled at Mom. "Oh, great. So you're going to punish me for being honest and by not going." "You didn't want us to go in the first place, remember?" answered Mom. "But now that you know about it, of course I want you to go," said Via. "Well, I've got to weigh everyone's feelings here, Via," said Mom. "What are you talking about?" I shouted. "Nothing." They both snapped at me at the same time. "Just something about Via's school that has nothing to do with you," said Mom. "You're lying," I said. "Excuse me?" said Mom, kind of shocked. Even Via looked surprised. "I said you're lying," I shouted. "You're lying." I screamed at Via, getting up. "You're both liars. You're both lying to my face like I'm an idiot." "Sit down, Augie," Mom said, grabbing my arm. I pulled my arm away and pointed at Via. "You think I don't know what's going on?" I yelled. "You just don't want your brand new fancy high school friends to know your brother's a freak." "Augie," Mom yelled. "That's not true." "Stop lying to me, Mom," I shrieked. "Stop treating me like I'm a baby. I'm not retarded. I know what's going on." Then I ran down the hallway to my room, slammed the door behind me so hard that I actually heard a little piece of wall crumble inside the door frame. Then I plopped onto my bed, pulled the covers up on top of me. I threw my pillows over my disgusting face and then piled all my stuffed animals on top of my pillows like I was inside a little cave. If I could walk around with each pillow on my face all the time, I would. I don't even know why I got so mad. I wasn't really mad at the beginning of dinner. I wasn't even sad. But then all of a sudden, it just kind of exploded out of me, and I knew Via didn't want me to go to that stupid play, and I knew why. I figured Mom would follow me into my room right away, but she didn't. I wanted her to find me inside my cave, all stuffed animals and everything, so I wanted a little more. So even after 10 minutes, she still didn't come after me. I was pretty surprised. She always checks on me when I'm in my room, upset about stuff. I pictured Mom and Via talking about me in the kitchen. I figured Via was feeling really, really, really bad by now, and I pictured Mom totally laying on the guilt, and Dad would be mad at her when he came home too. I made a little hole through the pillows of the stuffed animals and peeked at the clock on my wall. Half an hour had passed, and Mom still hadn't come to my room. I tried to listen for sounds in the other rooms. Were they still talking? Were they still having dinner? What was going on? Finally, the door opened, and it was Via. She didn't even bother coming over to my bed, and she didn't even come in softly like I thought she would. She just came in quickly. "Goodbye." "Augie, said Via. Come quick. Mom needs to talk to you. I'm not apologizing. This is not about you, she replied. Not everything in the world is about Augie. Now hurry up. Daisy's sick. Mom's talking to the emergency vet. Come say goodbye. I pushed the pillows off my face and looked at her. That's when I saw she was crying. What do you mean, say goodbye? Come on, she said, holding out her hand. I took her hand and followed her down to the hall to the kitchen. Daisy was lying sideways on the floor with her legs straight out in front of her. She was panting a lot, like she'd been running in the park. Mom was kneeling beside her, stroking the top of her head. What happened? I asked. She's just starting whimpering all of a sudden, said Via, kneeling down next to Mom. I looked down at Mom, who was crying too. I'm taking her to the animal hospital downtown, she said. The taxi's coming to pick me up. The vet'll make her better, right? I said. Mom looked at me. I hope so, honey, she said quietly, but I honestly don't know. Of course he will, I said. Daisy's been sick a lot lately, Augie, and she's old. But they can fix her, I said, looking at Via, and she agreed with me. But Via wouldn't look up at me. Mom's lips were trembling. I think this might be time we say goodbye to Daisy, Augie. I'm sorry. No, I said. We don't want her to suffer, Augie, she said. The phone rang and Via picked it up. Okay, thanks. And she hung up. The taxi's outside, she said, wiping the tears with the back of her hands. Okay, Augie, open the door for me, sweetie, said Mom, picking up Daisy very gently like she was a huge, droopy baby. Please, no, Mommy, I cried. I put myself in front of the door. Honey, please, said Mom. She's very heavy. What about Daddy? I cried. He's meeting me at the hospital, Mom said. He doesn't want Daisy to suffer, Augie. Via moved away from the door and held it open for Mom. My cell phone's on if you need anything, Mom said to Via. Can you cover her with the blanket? Via nodded, and she was crying hysterically now. Say goodbye to Daisy, kids, Mom said, tears streaming down her face. I love you, Daisy, Via said, kissing Daisy on the nose. I love you so much. Bye, little girlie, I whispered into Daisy's ear. I love you. Mom carried Daisy down the steps to the taxi driver, had opened the back door and watched her get in. Just before they closed the door, Mom looked up, standing at the entrance to the building, and she gave us a little wave. I don't think I've ever seen her look sadder. I love you, Mommy, said Via. I love you, Mommy, I said. I'm sorry, Mommy. I blew a kiss to her, and she blew a kiss to us and closed the door. We watched the car leave, and Via closed the door. She looked at me for a second and then hugged me very, very tight while we both cried a million tears. Daisy's toys. Justin came over about half hour later. He gave me a big hug and said, sorry, Augie. We all sat down in the living room, not saying anything for some reason. Via had taken all of Daisy's toys from around the house and put them in a little pile on the coffee table. Now we just stared at the pile. She really is the greatest dog in the world, said Via. I know, said Justin, rubbing Via's back. She just started whimpering all of a sudden, I said. Via nodded. Like 2 seconds after you left the table, she said. Mom was going to go after you, but Daisy started, whimpering. Like how? I said. Just whimpering. I don't know, said Via. Like howling? I asked. Augie, like whimpering, she said impatiently. She just started moaning, like something really, really was hurting her. And she was panting like crazy. And then she just kind of plopped down, and Mom went over and tried to pick her up. And whatever she was obviously hurting her, she bit Mom. What? I said. Yeah. When Mom tried to touch her stomach, Daisy bit her hand. Via explained. Daisy never bites anyone, I answered. She wasn't herself, said Justin. She's obviously in a lot of pain. Daddy was right, said Via. We should have let her go. We should not have let her get this bad. What do you mean? I said. He knew she was sick. Augie, Mom's taken her to the vet like 3 times in the last 2 months. She's been throwing up left and right. Haven't you noticed? Yeah, but I didn't know she was sick. Via didn't say anything, but she put her arm around my shoulders and pulled me close to her, and I started to cry again. I'm sorry, Augie, she said softly. I'm really sorry about everything, okay? Do you forgive me? You know how much I love you, right? I nodded. Somehow the fight didn't seem to matter much now. Was Mommy bleeding? I asked. It was just a nip, said Via, right there. She pointed to the bottom of her thumb to show me exactly where Daisy had bit Mom. Did I hurt her? Mommy's okay, Augie. She's fine. Mom and Dad came home 2 hours later. We knew the second they opened the door and Daisy wasn't with them that Daisy was gone. We all sat in the living room around the pile of Daisy's toys. Dad told us what happened at the animal hospital. The vet took an x-ray and blood test and came back and told them that she had a huge mass in her stomach, that she was having trouble breathing, and Mom and Dad didn't want her to suffer. So Daddy picked her up in his arms like he always did and like he always would do, with her legs hanging straight up in the air. And he and Mommy kissed her bye over and over again and whispered to her while the vet put the needle in her leg. And then in about a minute, she died in Daddy's arms. It was so peaceful, Daddy said. She wasn't in any pain at all, like she was going to sleep. A couple of times while he talked, Dad's voice got a little trembly, and then he cleared his throat. I've never seen my dad cry before, but I saw him cry tonight. I have gone into Mommy and Dad's bedroom looking for Mom to put me to bed, but Dad was sitting on the edge of the bed, taking off his socks. His back was to the door, so he didn't even know I was there. At first I thought he was laughing because his shoulders were shaking, but then he put his palms over his eyes and I realized he was crying. It was the quietest cry I've ever heard, like a whisper. I was going to go over to him, but then I thought, maybe he was whisper crying because he didn't want me or anyone to hear him. So I walked out into Via's room, and I saw Mom lying next to Via on the bed, and Mom whispering to her, Via, who was crying. So I went to my bed and put my pajamas on without anyone telling me to, and put on the nightlight and turned the light off and crawled into my little mountain of stuffed animals I had left on my bed from earlier. It felt like all that happened a million years ago. I took my hearing aids off, put them on the nightstand, pulled up the covers over my ears, and imagined Daisy snuggling with me, her big, wet tongue licking my face all over like it was her favorite face in the world. And that's how I fell asleep.